And we're back with me, Johnny McMurray, on the On the Spot Football Podcast for yet another fantastic guest. This guest happens to be one of my oldest friends in the world. Grew up together, played together, represented Northern Ireland together, played first team together, and now we're here on the spot. Paddy McNally. Paddy, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks very much for having me on, Johnny. I've been watching from afar, and I'm very, very impressed. I'm very proud of you. You've done great.
Good. Well, listen, thank you for coming on. Obviously, as I touched on there, we've been running mucks, as we used to say, around the markets, playing football, kicking people's cars and till you get away, wrap the door and run away and all that. But mate, it's a pleasure to have you on. I know you're not in the game no more, but one of my oldest friends, we grew up together. You've got a great story to tell, and I loved it growing up with you because I got to see you kind of take those steps forward. But we're here, we're having a nice conversation. So how are you?
Mate, I'm good. Life's good. It's been busy. As I said, I'm not playing anymore, and since I stopped, life's been very much all about change. So I've changed career. I've stopped playing football. Me and my Mrs. Molly bought a house, had a baby. So changed career outside of football. So it's been all go but
yeah, I feel like we've hit this age because all of our mates now have kind of got houses, got the missus, settled down, kids. And I was like going the way up in the car and I was thinking, it's true, like once you hit 30, you're kind of just like in that wee bracket of people and your whole life is just taking that next step. Like
that's exactly what's happening. So like I don't know what it was, but like when you were us growing up, football was everything. Football was your whole identity. There was probably not much outside of football that you sort of like were known for. And I didn't mind that because I mean that's what we love doing. Get so much fantastic experiences out of it. But once I started hitting about late 20s, I started like going, where am I going here after this? You know, I've played with boys before who you'll have also played for or played with. And they play the 35, 36, 37, have fantastic Irish League careers. But when they stop playing, they fall off a cliff. And I don't mean that in a bad sense. I just mean in the sense that, you know, you're playing, you're earning money. And then all of a sudden that's not there. You may have an entry-level job. So I just kind of had a word with myself and just, you know, have to go and sort of build my career outside of this to look after my family long term. So that was my thinking, really. Like,
as you touch on it, I'm kind of in that boat now where football's just kind of hit for me. It's kind of finished for this year anyway with an E, and that money comes in, you're like banking on it type thing, and now you've just got to adjust. You got to make plans to try and get an X amount of money back in where you don't know where it's going to come from, and a lot of people don't plan. So you taking that step probably 2 or 3 years ago is probably one of the smartest things. I never jumped 2 or 3 years ago like you did. Probably you were a bit smarter than me, but it's one of those things. It's definitely worked out positively for you.
No, it has. Listen, and to be fair, I didn't always have this sort of knowledge, and I don't want to say, you know, as I say, I was just playing football. I was in a bubble, and I didn't think too much outside of that. So, I don't know. Maybe it's maturity that comes with age, and I certainly didn't have it like in my early 20s, mid 20s. You know, we were playing football every week and going out and having a good time at the weekend, and probably doing it too often, to be quite honest. But
it's one of those things, I think, when you kind of grow up that way, that's what we were always used to. But talk to me about what you're doing now.
So now I have a decent career that I'm proud of. I'm a health manager for a community organisation in inner city Belfast, in the market, where we have so much memories from about playing football. So to be able to kind of do full circle there, so obviously I was born there, grew up there, you know, run about the streets and everything else, and now I'm at the age of 31 now, just turned, and I get to have an opportunity to go in and enhance that community and make it better. So in terms of a job, like I'm so settled, I'm so happy, and thankfully it is the case, because you know, for a couple of years, you know, you're wondering what to do with yourself, but I was making moves and making steps for it to fall into place. So I'm doing that, and then part-time I coach in a private gym facility in the town as well, ECI Belfast. So again, you're helping people better their lives, so I couldn't be happier in terms of like jobs.
Just to touch on ECI, ECI is one of the sort of like premier like PT training facilities that gets people ready to go in and obviously coach people the right techniques and different things like that. So what was it that sparked that interest from you? Was it your whole career playing in football, being in sport and wanting to give back, or how did you manage to think, well, do you know what, I'm maybe going to put myself in this limelight and coach people?
See, to be honest, so like, you're an athlete all your life. My full adult life I was an athlete. But I didn't always enjoy it in the gym, let's be honest. We don't do it. We just want to play
Well,
football, want to play games.
I was, being honest.
I had to be. You were more talented than I was. So so I didn't really enjoy it as much. And then when it was ported down, which I'm sure we'll touch on, I got a bad injury and I was playing against Ballymena one Saturday afternoon, and me and Shane McCartan collided, and I've obviously come off in a bad way. I stood stuck in the grass and I twisted my knee, and I found out a couple of days later when I got a scan that it completely ruptured my ligaments in my knee. So I knew it was going to be out long term. But if I was to have any chance of going back and playing, certainly at that level, then I knew I would have to give everything to it in terms of like the rehab, and the approach had to be spot on. It was. I didn't leave any stone unturned. Done the rehab. It lasted 15 months. But basically lived in the gym. Yeah. So through that, I just started to fall in love with it. I had to enjoy the process because like I couldn't go out and train. Yeah. You know what I mean, try to keep myself about the club and whatever else. But because I was in the gym so much, I was like, I really enjoy this, and I know how much it's helped me mentally as well. Because I mean, you've been in the same boat in terms of like having long-term injuries. It's not great, and you can find yourself quite isolated and lonely at times. But through that sort of rehab process, I was like, this is class. It's done an awful lot for me. Yeah. If there's an opportunity down the line for me to provide the same service for someone else and help them along the way, and that's what sort of sparked my interest, to be honest with you.
I don't want to go too much into it because I feel like that's going to come into things sort of later on down the line of this podcast, but it's weird that you touch on it. It is a very isolating place, and I think people who aren't in football don't understand the mental side of the injuries, and especially how long that they can take. So I think we'll touch on that towards the end, but I want to take you right back. So we grew up together. We'd been mates from we were like 8. It's 22, 23 years almost, which is a long, long time, mate. So that goes from us running around. I have down here that we used to play in the market tournament, and I always touch on, but the only ever top that I think I purchased was a Celtic top, and I think you made me do it. And I have it's the Lisbon Lions 40th, and it had the wee gold trim.
Oh yeah, I remember.
It's the only top I ever bought, and I was like, I have to buy a Celtic top to play in this tournament. I was like,
you weren't allowed in my team if you didn't have one.
Even if we didn't have it, I was like, I always remember your dad standing there like proud as punch. He had the big top on, roller up. But I want to take you back to those days. They were the days that kind of set us up, and at that age, we could always see that you had serious ability. Me and you were both quite tall at that stage, always kind of towering over people, but you had this ability at that young age to play. What sparked your interest in football, and how do you think that helped you at a young age going forward?
In terms of like what sparked my interest playing football, I come from a big sort of football family. Not that like my dad or anything played, but like the football, like there wasn't games, like our TV was just games all day, every day. Celtic or so. And then from I was 3, basically, my dad had me going back and forth to Celtic Park every week. And if I wasn't at Celtic Park, I was at Solitude watching Cliftonville. So basically from the wage, I was at a football ground every single week. Yeah. And I just immersed myself in it, fell in love with it, like absolutely loved it. Like it's, to even go back, like I'm getting like shivers talking about it. Like it is class. Like it's an experience that like I'll maybe hopefully speak to my daughter about and hopefully get her involved. But it was my dad initially, going back and forth to watch Celtic all the time. And I didn't actually start playing until I was about 9. And I signed for a team in the West, Immaculata. My granny's from the West Belfast, so there was no team in the market. So outside of us running about playing summer tournaments and kicking the ball about, whatever else. And obviously we played Gaelic together too. But I had to go to
as well. We got good at football because we were both youth.
100%. Useless. I was just a big target man.
Stand there, kick it.
So through that, I signed for a team in the West because the football team beside my granny's house. Started playing there for a couple of years and just fell in love with it. My granddad was a big influence on me as well, and sort of without him I wouldn't have had the experiences. So he used to take me to training, and then within about a year or 2 he was coaching. Yeah. And then that was him hooked.
That was him, man.
Yeah, so that was my first club, was the Mac, because we didn't have a local football team at the time.
It's still thriving, the Mac, now too, when you think about it. Like, they're still going, they're still quite strong. They've got a good foundation there with kids coming through as well. So it is quite a good team for people to start off with. But it wasn't that long before you made the jump.
Yeah, I mean, I played there for about 2 or 3 years, and if I'm being quite honest, I probably outgrew that team. I was getting opportunities at county level and going and playing the Foyle Cup and everything else, and then through playing against other teams like Cliftonville, etc. There was always interest from their coaches off their games and that, and I always for a while I was thinking about it there's an opportunity here to maybe progress, and thankfully those opportunities came about. But I actually went to a team after them, spent a year playing for North Belfast United, which was the New Lodge team, and then I played for New Hill for a year, and then it was after that where I got invited to go on a tournament with Cliftonville. They were always quite interested in me anyway, and I went as a guest player to America and spent 3 weeks out in America with them and done really well and scored about 10 headers. So there was, he was 6'4" and was playing under 10s. And impressed and done okay, and come back and Cliftonville says, well, do you want to come permanently and sign for us? And I think it was maybe about 13 at the time, and I signed for Cliftonville, and I didn't really look back.
Never really look back. I always look at that stage, and I was thinking about this earlier when I was trying to go through stuff, and you had tried to rope me into going with you at the time, and America was the big thing. We were like, mate, we have the opportunity to go to America here, and I was like, I don't really play football, but I want to go to America. I think it was just too late to sign up and join, but you made that jump before I did. What was that like going away at such a young age? Because there's not many kids that do those trips, and well, especially America anyway. But I know kids go to Blackpool, do the Blackpool Cup and stuff like that. I don't even know if that kind of still goes on now, but to go to America at 13, 14 as a kid, as a football team, so different.
It was incredible. Honestly, I didn't know what to expect, but you've no fear when you're a kid either. And then the way it was structured, they put us into families, so we didn't spend all day every day with the lads and the coaches. We were all in individual families, probably about 3 or 4 a house, and then we would have met up and played games. I must have played about 20 games in the space of a few weeks. Yeah. I'd be lucky to play 20 games in a season. But anyway, you were a kid, and it was unreal. And then you had the opportunity to play against. So obviously here you're playing against local kids all the time. Then all of a sudden you're playing against Mexican teams, and teams from all over the world. To be honest, I actually think Puma sponsored that tournament, and Samuel Eto'o opened it.
Right.
I know, cut the ribbon. Yeah. It was mad. And then I think my man and dad gave me 600 quid to go on holiday, obviously to go away to America, and I think I spent the whole 600 quid on boots. So my suitcase coming back was just full of Puma boots, right? Buzzing. So I spent a couple of weeks there, and it was unbelievable. And as you say, the experience I got to was incredible. And we had some really good players in that team as well. So obviously good many hours. But Conor McGrandles was in that team, and
Connor's still at Newington now, isn't he?
Connor's still playing now. Niall Grimley was playing centre midfield for us. Niall just won the All Ireland with Armagh last year. He's a phenomenal athlete. So I could go through them all. But there was a few successes out of it.
A lot of our team at that stage, well, whenever I joined the following year, or maybe it was 2 years just after that, I think we had another year. I was at Rosario and I think I signed, but I think at that stage that Cliftonville team that we were in was unbeaten for 2 years. The team was an absolute joke. You had players on trial, left, right and centre. People going to Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool. And I think the only person that ever went anywhere was me. Everybody else was away. You were already at Celtic every week, and everybody was away. I think I was probably just that wee fat kid. Just never made it anywhere.
No, to be fair, you should have came when I told you to come. Because I always remember playing against Rosario. And although, let's be honest, Rosario with our age group weren't great.
No.
And you stuck up sore form every time we played them. And a mutual friend of ours, Danny Clarkin, what a special man, by the way, unbelievable. Yep. See the coaches that you have when you're a kid, they're so special, because you think about it when you're a senior player, and it's nothing against us, the nature of the game. If you're not fit and not performing, you're no good to no one. Do you know what I mean? And they'll quickly forget about you. And I mean, that's happened to both of us numerous times. But I think what's special about that age is that they're more interested in developing you as a person.
Yeah. And
what you turn out to be in terms of a man and everything else. So we'd obviously Danny and John at that age group.
John was the treasurer for Cliftonville as well as our coach, wasn't he? John was overall at the club looking after all the money, the finances, and
everything. Man, honestly,
Stuff in the market every Saturday morning.
every Saturday morning, picking you up, dropping you off. Not only that, there he would have took us to whoever Clinville were playing that afternoon as well, regardless of where it was.
I just remember them like ban. He always bought us Yazoo milks. Has been stored in the boot of his car. I think he just abused them that much. He'd be like, "You need to get some sort of Yazoo in here," and his strawberry Yazoo milks in his boot every week.
Flat out training every match day. He loved that. Was his ultimate recovery shake. Like, but they were kind of ahead of their time as well, no, in terms of like sports science. Although obviously some of the terminology and all might not have been correct, but I mean they were thinking ahead. Like, but I just thought it was that them two lads were just special. And I remember, just to go back to it, every time we played yous, like, we probably give you the doing most times.
At least 7 or 8. It was horrible.
But I always remember Danny saying to me, like, Big McMurray, any chance I'm coming up and play for us? Like, and obviously I was torturing you. Like, it was
very close, because I remember I was close to signing for Linfield, and I remember Danny phoned me when I was in science. I remember being in science class and
St. Joe's. You were St. Joe's.
I had like a Sonny Ericsson. He's like, I can't talk to you, mate. I'm like, and they had a school here. But I ended up saying, like, it was very close to going to Linfield at the time, and then he was quite convincing. But that team, them two teams alone, like the only team that was beating them was one or the other, and I think that Clinville team was unbeaten in 2 years.
It was unreal. I don't think we lost a game for a couple of years. Won the league, won the Northern Ireland Cup. The talent for the team, I think, was like 10 international players too, like youth level. So we were really, really strong. The issue you had was Linfield were just as strong.
Yeah.
And those games were amazing. Actually, no way your memory plays tricks on you here, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure we played a game behind closed doors at under 16 level.
Well, had to.
Or under 15, something like that.
There was one game I think we played at Blatsfloor, and pandemonium struck at the end of it. I think it was one of the games where I think they actually beat us, and something kicked off probably at the end. And there was like mass rats. There was people in the boots of cars trying to get sticks and all. It really went off.
So that happened, didn't it? That's not my memory playing tricks on me. Yes, I remember it well because
Danny Blansfloor Stadium.
We went into. Yeah, exactly. And I remember getting into the dressing room afterwards. Something was said, and obviously there was a bit of rivalry between all us as players too. And then, but like, we would have met up at the end of the month and went and played a game for Northern Ireland. No, like, But I remember it being like a proper brawl. It was a complete brawl. Like, it was fist fighting. Like, this wasn't arguing or like people hurting people's feelings. This was an absolute brawl. Which, looking back, it's insane.
So completely. You know, you're like, how did that happen?
We were kids. Do you know what I mean? Calm down. Grow up. Like, he was in charge of us. But anyway, it was obviously we were driving all that. Like, but like, I'm pretty sure like Big Dougie Wilson would have been that Linfield team.
Yes.
And Matty Clark, for example, who two great fellas who went on to have brilliant careers as well. Like, but it does show
right through at Northern Ireland. Do you know what I mean? So that's the thing. You were literally going back, meeting them up at the end of the month, staying away somewhere, and then
just laughing about it. Just laughing at you dug ahead each other.
And that was such as dad was pointing ahead of each other to go
No, unbelievable. I remember went to Lilleshall shortly after one of them games as well. So for about a day or two, it's like, it's us against them. But then day two, you're laughing and joking.
It is mad to think a lot of those players, as you say, end on to go and make careers out of it. But you were one of the first people to actually make that move in our Clinville team. I think it was yourself, and I think for much people who probably list this, Josh Barton was brilliant, phenomenal. Like, he signed for Aston Villa. They won the Youth Cup, I think, and you'd signed for Celtic at the time. You two were probably the first people to leave. But what was that like? Because you've talked about how your family were such big Celtic fans, big Clinville fans. You've played for Clinville. You've then got your move to Celtic, which is like your boyhood club. That must have just been like ecstasy. The whole family's like, this is my dream from a kid.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's surreal, really, isn't it? Like, it is surreal. A kid from the market in inner city Belfast, you know, one of the most deprived working class communities, and they get the opportunity to go and play football at any level. Really, it's unbelievable. And to play professionally for the two clubs that you grew up, you adored, you loved, you were every week at both clubs. Like, it was incredible. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's only now that when you kind of stop playing and you look back and go, although it was like at youth level at this stage, it's like I had some street cred running about the streets. Like, you know what I mean? It was
come back in the taxi and being like, how taxis do they?
It was brilliant. So all those wee things that obviously in hindsight don't matter, but when you're a kid, you're buzzing. Like, but it was going to Clinville that got me all those opportunities, to be quite honest, because it was more of a competitive team. So me going in as a half decent player and playing in a good team made me look even better than I was probably. But with that came opportunities, and I think I went back and forth from the age of 14 till I was 15, 16. I went back and forth to England about 14 times. I went to Celtic a few times, and then in between playing international football. So the first opportunity I got to go across and like experience like football across there was at Man United. But again, I was only 14, and they kind of got on the phone and they told us to meet them in, I want to say, like the Balmoral Hotel or something. And I'm pretty sure we played you that day.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played midfield.
Yeah.
I played number 6. And then after that game, I got changed and went up and met the head of under 16 academy at Man United or something up in the Balmoral. And then remember them and it's like, securing a date to go over and whatever else. And then before we went over, like sending out a big bag of gear to the house and like, like the Toll 90s that Wayne Rooney used, like they were asking me what size of boots, sent me over boots, training kits. Like it was unbelievable for just a kid going over on trial. Like, so, but obviously they were the elite club. Like, so that's my first experience of going over. And then when I went over and played a game, came home and quickly realised that it was nowhere near the level. I was like, oh wow. The ball was just
I wasn't going to say, like I didn't think I was going to be the thing. I thought you were going to say, like, yeah, I was buzzing, I couldn't wait to get back, and you're just like, nah.
I think probably in hindsight, I've probably done all right, but I've always been my own biggest critic. Like, no one has put pressure on me more than myself playing football.
Yeah.
And it was no different at 14. So I come back and think, I remember having a conversation with my dad and saying, like, I'm not good enough to play at that level. Like, silly for a 14-year-old to say, really. Like, and obviously they're more obviously mature and they're saying it's grand and whatever else. It's only your first experience and whatever else. And I didn't come out of my room for 2 days. I suppose it's probably a good one to speak to the young people now. I work with young people now, like, and I think everything's in the order if it doesn't go well for them. I thought it didn't go well, but they'd phoned and they'd asked me back over. While I'd been sulking in the room for a couple of days.
So obviously went way better than you initially thought.
And maybe they look beyond the actual performance in the game, and they maybe look at mannerisms and how I present myself and athleticism and whatever else.
Over there of your first time, you're probably not feeling comfortable or confident in what you're going to do because you're in the middle of nowhere by yourself, and all these factors, like they obviously know this, but a lot of factors come into play there.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I remember, like I mean, even walking in the dressing room with 30 English kids. And they're all just staring at you. Like, it's not the most welcoming environment in the world.
All got their wee...
they're all in their own cliques. Yeah, and that's fair enough. Like, I mean, we did over here, like, so... And then if an English lad had been coming over to our dressing room at Clinville, he'd get rinsed, do you know what I mean? So, I had no issue with it. But obviously, that was my first experience. So after that, like, and I'm pretty sure it's just because other people here that Man United are having a look at you, so they're going, well, we'll have a look at them too. And I went back and forth with, quite a few clubs, like in the Hull and Cardiff and Stoke and a couple more, and then I got offered a couple of contracts. So I got offered a contract at Hull, I got offered a contract at Stoke, and then amongst that I'd been over at Celtic and back and forth a few times and played against Rangers. My last game on trial and done reasonably well. And once they offered me a contract, like I was like, it's
as a no-brainer.
Yeah, well, I say no-brainer, but I was really well looked after at Hull. Like Hull were amazing. Like Stephen Seaton, obviously, know him very well. Like, and he's well known within the league as well. He just obviously coached the Ballymena with Jim for the last couple of years. Stephen's so good for me, like, and I know he's so good for a lot of youth players, but the relationship I have with him is brilliant. And like, my parents loved him because of how he looked after you as a person, a young man, first and foremost. But I got a lot of opportunities for Stephen as well. And I was back and forth at Hull for a couple of years and going over on Easter holidays and all. So, to be honest, if Celtic didn't intervene, I was probably going to go to Hull.
A lot of boys from our area, from next to the west, the likes of Dougie Wilson as well. Like Dougie had signed for Hull, Fran McCaffrey, Paul McElroy, I think was there. There's quite a lot of people at our age. Well,
Nathan Hanley.
Nathan Hanley's playing there, really. That probably would have helped settle in. That's probably one of those good things, that community, probably from being here. There's 4 or 5 Irish lads going over there, but I think probably deep down in you, Celtic was always the number one.
For me, yes. I tried to look at it like sort of the whole picture and go, well, where am I going to get the best opportunity? But I just think my heart ruled my head in the end, if I'm being honest. And like, I got the experience, like the facilities, and
being or
just
like,
everything that went about that club was just top class. And I went, how can you turn down an opportunity?
so most Saturdays you're probably watching Celtic games. You're probably there as
What's that? But we used to work.
things.
We used to work at the games, mate. So like we would have went in and we were able to mix with the first team before and after games. And you're in there in the dressing room now. I mean, you're running about lifting towels for them and
Yeah.
putting their studs in and whatever else. But for me as a big fan, I like it was a couple of years. Like the year before, like I was there as a supporter, and I still am a supporter. 'Cause I'm only a kid. I'm not a Celtic player. Like, but to have that sort of opportunity just to kind of do that was surreal as well. And
At that stage when you sign and you're in that dressing room, you're running around as a kid, as you say, you're talking like a fan near enough. Who's playing for Celtic at that stage?
Neil Lennon was the manager first time round. Gary Hooper was playing up front. Charlie Mulgrew, Calvin Wilson, centre half. Scott Brown, James Forrest had just broke into the team about a year or two. Trying to think of who else, but I mean they were decent. Like they were good, and the standards were sky high. Paddy McCourt was there. Niall McGinn was a Celtic player, but he was out on loan at the time. But me, Paddy, and Niall shared the same agent. So again, like any time, like you would have spoke to them boys, were very, very helpful.
I think that was one of the things. We went away with Northern Ireland actually, and I think your agent came up to meet you, and I think Niall was with him. Can't remember the guy's name, but I think we were staying in the hotel. They came to meet you. You came by, obviously you flew back for the game or for the tournament or whatever. They came up, and I think he dropped off like boots or something or whatever, and they were collecting them, and Niall was sitting there, and just a really normal fella at the time. You're saying going like,
I know him.
he plays at Celtic.
Went on to have a brilliant career. Like I mean, he's phenomenal career.
Phenomenal.
I remember playing against him a couple of years ago, and he was at Glentoran. And
He was still in that.
I played the right of a three, like, and he was playing left wing, and I was going, me, like, going to the ball. Like, I mean, I couldn't have played against him in my pump. Never mind, out of position.
Half the times we played against him too, you were kind of like, he just doesn't want to do anything here, and then all of a sudden it just.
I know, no, he's unbelievable. He was getting dogs abuse off Portadown fans, and obviously I was on that side, so I could hear he's getting dogs abuse, so we're torturing him, like. I was like, why are they doing this? It's going to make him angry, like.
I know, don't rile him up. You're going to make this worse for me.
He got the ball, way left, and just cut in the middle of the pitch, and just had a rocket in the top corner. Now, fuck's sake, really? Really? Do you know the amount of ability this man has? Yeah. So going back to you, people like that there, they kind of not look after you, but they certainly look out for you. Yeah. Real nice fellas, and they might not see much. They might not look too much into it, but even as much as like a conversation and just making sure you're settled and just a bit of consideration.
Yeah. See, in terms of that, whenever you make that transition, because you've just went from part-time football, which was always Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, to a full-time aspect. You've moved to Celtic, moved into Glasgow, living in digs. Everything's changed for you, and then you're expected to go in 4 or 5 days a week, training double sessions. What's that transition like as a young kid? Did it take you a while to get up to speed, or do you feel like that was you, like you were able to fit in straight away and be ready to go?
Oh, that took me a while, like.
Did it?
Oh yeah. Broke down first week of pre-season. Had a brilliant week. Yeah. Trained. I wasn't nowhere near the fitness levels of the rest of the boys, but thought I trained really well. And then the end of that week, we played a Dutch team at Lennoxtown and played the game and done okay again. And remember just being in agony afterwards, and it was just pure muscle injuries. Just my body just screaming at me. What are you doing?
5 days.
Do you know what I mean? Like you go back to like saying like when we were younger. I remember playing. I was boxing. I was playing Gaelic and I was playing football all at the same time, and like that didn't even scratch the surface till the amount of training and demand. Yeah. That like going over there and playing full time in the youth team. So it did take me a while, and then with that, when you start getting injured, and then the league has started, and then there's games going on, and you're not involved in the first load, and it's like, what's happening here? Like, is this going to happen for me? And mentally, you're not great. You're all over the place, like, missing home, missing all your mates. I remember, like, me and Molly had only been starting going with each other for about a year. So I mean, you're that age, and you're missing her, and just everything that comes with it. It's difficult, like, yeah. But about 6 months, I would probably say, and then I felt really comfortable. I felt like Glasgow was my second home anyway. I was never out of it. Yeah. So about 6 months in, I felt like, you know what, I'm okay here. I can rub shoulders with the boys, like.
Well, you ended up staying for 3 years, so I think you started on like a 1 year scholar, and then you ended up with like a 2 year pro. You stayed, pretty much got yourself in the reserves, knocking on the door of the first team. So it ended up being a lot better and a lot smoother than you thought. But how difficult was it when you got to that sort of under 21 level with those players and trying to get yourself into the first team?
It's make or break, because there's no more like, do you know, like you would have had a team, you would have had under 19s, under 17s, but you always would have had like friendly games at under 17 that you were eligible to play in. So like if you weren't playing for the under 19s on a Tuesday night or whatever it may be, there's games there. You were playing games constantly against good opposition. But once you get the like sort of like 20 level, like which was effectively the reserve team, and you're not playing, or else, for example, you know, you may find yourself out of the team and you're not showing signs of getting in the first team. Like you have to weigh up your options and you have to look elsewhere. And I kind of did get to that stage at the end, and I was so thankful to have that experience at such an elite football club. And to be quite honest, the habits and traits that I learned there and the standards I carried with me, not only through my football career, but I still carry through my life today. I carry it through my own job and like my family life and how I am, like how I want to present myself as a father too. Like so, I took so much from that, but it wasn't just a football experience. It was this is basically working in an elite environment and the demands of it.
See, whenever you talk about at the start of this, you actually talked about at the end how you wanted to plan ahead. You were always kind of looking at, what am I going to do when this happens? Just to bring that back, at the end of your time at Celtic and you knew it was coming to an age, you were already looking ahead. You were planning, and I think you'd obviously planned, because I always remember sitting down and speaking when you came back and you'd said that you were going to sign for Cliftonville again, because I was there and I just broke into the first team and you were like, I'm ready to come back.
Mm-hmm.
You had 6 months left and you're like, I need to play games. And you were always trying to get that next stage. Do you think that you learned that from a very young age? Because obviously you've tried to emulate it and replicate it whenever you're 28. But for somebody 18 to do that, 19, 20, to be like, I need to get out here, I need to play games, this isn't going to last forever.
Yeah, and then also, like, it wasn't solely my decision, like, believe me,
I was just checking the number and I don't want to get something anymore.
See if the club had to offer me a new contract, I was going nowhere. But yes, I suppose unconsciously, yes, probably I've always kind of like tried to look ahead and plan ahead, and I suppose I learned that through football too. So it's so cutthroat, right? So even when you're at a club and you think, you know, I'm well got here and I feel safe and I'm comfortable, like that's a dangerous zone to be in. Like, do you know what I mean? Like you find yourself getting comfortable, like it's time to give yourself a shake.
You don't know who's going to hit you or what injury's going to come up or who gets sacked and comes in and doesn't like you. It's
100%. It just changes so fast. So yes, partly to do with Celtic not wanting me anymore, and also me going, where do you go now? Had a couple of opportunities to stay in Scotland, not like concrete offers, but like, and why would a club give you a concrete offer? You haven't played any first team yet, so they don't know how you're going to cope at that level. So like I went to Hamilton and like Dunfermline and stuff were just willing to go and have a look at me, like, and there's not much into it. Like, you know, you're leaving Celtic, so clubs are going to have a look at you at the very least. What's the worst they can say? Like, nah, he's not for us. Yeah. All the best. They haven't lost anything, and then I gain experience out of it. But I'm being honest, like I was a wee bit disillusioned, and I suppose looking back, I probably wasn't in the best mental place, if I'm being totally honest. I didn't realise it at the time, because I mean, lack of awareness, lack of experience. I didn't know what was happening, but all I knew was I wasn't too happy.
Yeah.
I felt like a bit of a failure. I felt like I let everybody down. And then the one thing that I'm known for at that time was football player, and it's like, where I come from, and like for a couple of years it was like, there's a lad that plays for Celtic, there's a Celtic player, and you're coming back and everyone's so interested in you, and like you have 5,000 mates that can't wait to like meet up with you when you come home. But again, it's all a learning curve. So I suppose I've developed that awareness over time, but I suppose on one level I've always had it, but I was a wee bit disillusioned, and I don't regret not pursuing some of my opportunities. Like, for example, I didn't even go to Dunfermline.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just not in the headspace for this. Like, I'm just not. And I didn't even, this was maybe September time, and like the league and all had already started, the Irish League and all had already started, like, and I didn't have any clubs. Like, I had a few clubs in the Irish League that were interested in me that summer, like, but I didn't like pursue anything, because it was like, you know, I'll go back to Scotland and have a crack at it. But maybe I was doing what other people wanted me to do, instead of what I wanted to do at the time. Do you know what I mean? And again, you're influenced easily as a kid. And you're always like seeking that like external validation of people, and like, does he like me? Does he think I'm a good player?
Yeah.
You care about stuff like that, like, and see, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? But I wish back in
You had
I
that mentality.
had that, yeah, because one, I probably would have had a far better career.
Yeah.
But
That's the
yeah.
thing too, with these life experiences, the experience you go through, you learn that like who actually does relatively care. Like, you're in such a small bubble. And if you make it to that elite stage where you're at the likes of your Liverpools and all, like, great, no problem, you're a superstar, world superstar, but you're playing in the Irish League and you think that you're in that bubble, it's a very small bubble.
It's a very small bubble, but you think it's the world.
Yes. 100%.
You think it's a world, and you don't get a good rating in the paper, and you're reading it and all. No, in your first couple of years when you're playing, you do these things. Like, there's no point like saying, "Oh, I didn't do any of that, and that didn't affect me."
Mm-hmm.
Like when we started playing, when I started playing senior football, like Twitter had only been on the scene for about a year. Right? We sound ancient, don't we? Me, what the fuck happened to? So like Twitter was on the scene, and like even getting dogs abuse on Twitter, you're like, Jesus Christ, like this isn't good for the confidence. But anyway, I suppose it's all a learning curve, and thankfully, when like later on in my career, like I didn't give a flying fuck what anyone thought of me, like, you know, apart from the important people, people picking a team, your teammates, your family, and that's it.
You speak to Brezzy about coming back. Brezzy's the manager at Cliftonville at this stage. Minto, I think Skin might have been there.
Yeah, Skin was there, yeah. Spoke to Skin quite a bit as well.
Talk to me about getting back in. So you've left your childhood club to go to your dream club, and then you get to come back and play first team. That's pretty much we met up again, because we were both in that sort of setup then, and you can kind of straight in January, straight back in the fold, play a couple of games, get yourself back in the swing of things, and like, God rest him, Brezzy's obviously not here now, but what a man, like, what a great fella. That team was unbelievable.
Special, like, I mean, I'm 31, like, so maybe people older than me might argue this, but it's certainly the best team that I've ever seen in my lifetime. The best Glenville team. Brazzy was like the ultimate leader.
Yeah.
Like, in a real classy,
Fun.
humility. Like, he's just an unbelievable person. And it, like, looking back at his mannerisms and how he managed people was just pure and utter genius. Because, like, that dressing room was insane.
Mental.
It was insane. And it was just filled with characters.
And there was a wild bunch of people, like, when you look at, like, Conor Davin, Ryan Catney, Jonty, Marty Donnelly, and then Marty Murray was just a wee bit older than us. And then at the other side of it, you had Chris Scannell, Ronan Scannell, like, dentist teacher, Eamon Sidak, who's a businessman, and everybody just grouped together. It was like they shouldn't all be mates or something, but they were all, like, as tight as anything.
And it was like a group of misfits. Because there was players there that were quite on in their career and had really good careers before that.
Yeah.
But like that 2 or 3 year period, like, they just like elevated themselves. Like, I watched like Jonty, for example, for years playing for Cliftonville. I used to love him because he was just he was hard not to handle the ball. He was just everything you wanted in an Irish League midfielder, wasn't he? I always looked up to George McMullen because Georgie's from the market. So me being a market kid, like, he was a hero. Like, he was a friend of my dad's, so I knew him and knew his family, and like, sharing a dressing room.
Oh my God, he was gifted person I've ever seen play football who looks like they should never play football.
Phenomenal.
Unbelievable.
Phenomenal. And then, like, he obviously played right back, but just to be able to share a dressing room with people like that was unreal. And you didn't realise it at the time. You were just kind of, you're just an autopilot, aren't you, really? And you're so focused on yourself as well, let's be honest. Like, I mean, we're all selfish and we're all trying to, like,
want to do well for you.
Of course. So there's like a nostalgia part of it where I'm a Cliftonville supporter and I'm getting the mix with the boys, and it's had a really good period in the club as well.
Yeah.
Like, I watched Cliftonville finish mid-table year after year, yeah. And then all of a sudden, you're like, no.
We're challenging.
Yeah. These are no longer the chaser, like, these are being chased. And see how they dealt with that mentally. And again, I just think it's because they were all nutcases.
They were.
It was the maddest mix of people ever, but the ability, character, crack, dressing room was just phenomenal. Like, it was amazing. Like, and full credit to Brazzy, Minto, love Minto, legend, and Skin was top class. Skin was a coach ahead of his time. He was. That's why that sounds a bit cliche, he was ahead of his time, but I just mean he was so switched on tactically. And again, an unbelievable like person to like go to between the kind of managers and senior figures. Like he was
you can go have that conversation with. He looked after it. He kind of give you your advice.
brilliant, was honest with you. I used to torture him for like video stuff and that, and because it was always like keen to do better. Even when I was playing really poorly, especially I wanted the games because I wanted to see where I went wrong and what I could have done better and stuff. So and spoke to him and Brazzy on the phone at length before I come back on loan. And yeah, they were a massive part. Not that I needed a pull because it was Clintonville and it was kind of pulling on my heartstrings anyway. So but Brazzy and Skim were brilliant, and then obviously I got to know Minto when I was there.
They went on to win the league that year. You came back. I think they done the double. They done it 2 years in a row, didn't they?
So that would have been the second year.
Yeah.
Like 2013-14.
Yeah. So we had just kind of finished up. I think I just went on. I think was that year I went on loan.
Did you go to Larne, maybe?
I went to Larne. Yes, with Davy McLinton.
Yeah, that's right.
I was there for about 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and then I'd left, which was. I think I made a couple of appearances, just not much.
So you were first team squad player. I was on the bench, and then you went out loan.
Had to go get game time because I was never going to play. I think at that stage, Boise had came back. Joe Gormley had just come in and just took the league by storm. So a couple of hours, like Chris Cannell was still there, and I think there was Tiernan Mulvanna. Do you remember Tiernan Mulvanna?
Yes, I do. All right. Yeah.
Down south, and I was like, oh, it's Mira Mulvanna, but I think I was only 17, 18.
You were kids.
Like, I'm not getting in the front place and had to go there. Which was probably the best thing for me.
Of course,
because you're devastated because you're a big Clintonville fan at that stage, and we talk about this on this podcast quite a lot. It's like a wee bubble. Clintonville's Clintonville, and it's just about Clintonville, and you're in it, and you want to be immersed in it. And I'm thinking, they were going to win the league here. I don't want to go to Lorne. I don't want to go on loan.
Because it's like that. Because like it's even whenever like you're a wee bit disheartened when you have to leave that like winning machine.
Yeah.
Because you're like, no, I want to stay here for as long as I can. Frustrating thing about it was the fact that we were both kids, and I was probably too forward in the sense that when I wasn't playing, like I was torturing Brazil, like I wasn't thinking away. I was just like, what I got to do to get in the team? Like I think I should be playing. In hindsight, bullshit. I shouldn't have been playing.
Yeah.
Brazil was 100% right not to be playing. I was a 19-year-old kid who was really good one week and really ropey the next, and just you're that age, a centre back. It's such an important position. So,
and especially in that team, you've tried to fit into a team that's potentially going to win the league. He's sitting thinking, I need more consistency, and that's probably all it's down to.
Absolutely, and the fact that you've two senior centre halves in front of you who wholeheartedly deservedly played. Yeah. And I was just happy enough to play back up the Emmons, and through that got a few good experiences, like, and play a few games.
Talk to me about leaving Clintonville. Was that a hard decision to make, leaving Clintonville? I know you were only on, you're on loan. You probably had the option to go, and I think Glenavon come in for you. Is that something that you wanted to do, or did you want to stay?
I wanted to stay, I of course did. But I also wanted to play every week. And I knew I wasn't going to do that at Clintonville. Clintonville went through like a transition after that sort of year, the year after that anyway, and kind of started to change it a lot. But I just wanted to play games, and again, I'm thinking maybe 19 or 20 at this time. And thought like the Glenavon, and like I thought like they're playing, they're giving young boys chances, like. Yeah. And they're in a good place. I think they just maybe won the Irish Cup. And
is that Gary?
Yeah, Gary was the manager. Yeah. So so I kind of spoke to him in the summer. But as I said, I wanted to go back to Scotland, and I did. Probably shouldn't have. But I did anyway, and kind of pursued that. And then I was a free agent come like September, October time. I'm near sure I could be getting my dates wrong here, but I'm pretty sure that's sort of what they were anyway. And I signed kind of last minute. And it started, enjoyed it. I think I played like the first 10 games or whatever, and it was good. And then I kind of came out of the team there, and I was like, well, I was so strong-headed. Like I just went, nah, this can't happen again. Yeah. If I'm not going to play consistently, and then I'll probably have to pursue other options. Like, and I think Winky Murphy and Chris Lindsay were centre backs at that club. Like, so, and they were honestly
stalwarts now.
Two legends, like, and two really, really, really nice fellas, like, who were all they ever did was try and help you. and they were playing your position, but
Yeah.
they were amazing. It's no coincidence that I same with Crystals, like, and obviously like working with all the young kids and the elite players, like, and then Eve Wanke, he's went on to have a really good coaching career. But they were legends. Although I was growing up watching Wanke playing against Clinville, and probably hated him at the time. I ended up becoming very fond of him. Thought he was brilliant, and but again, mate, it was just to play games, honestly, and it was no slight on anybody. It was just like I just need to go and play regularly and consistently. So it was like January. So I only played like a couple of months for them.
Yeah.
And then January came, and I spoke to a couple of clubs. So I went down south and I spoke to Drogheda. And then I spoke to Barry Gray again. It was through Skin. Skin phoned me and says, here, would you speak to Barry at Warren Point? And I spoke to him and had a really good conversation with Barry. And there was something to do with the budget or something at Warren Point. And I didn't have much left.
Until Barry whipped out his checkbook. What do you mean? No budget left here?
Hi. So basically, there was no budget in the first conversation anyway. And but it was grand. So all I literally made, I had a full-time job. So all I wanted to do was an opportunity to play first team football every week.
Yeah.
And just put myself back in the map. And I went down and trained with him and really enjoyed it.
Warren Point is a great club.
It is fantastic, mate. Yeah. And then obviously, like, you played there, so I knew it through you, and Marty Murray and TJ and Big Conal, obviously.
Yeah.
So like, and then Tippy managed him. So I heard a lot through Tippy as well. Like, so obviously me and Tippy would be right and close, and it didn't materialise, and it was because I changed my mind, and that's I was sitting in work, and maybe the day before the transfer window closed, and Speg phoned me. And he was like, look, listen, I didn't realise whatever, and that you were, he still thought I was a Glenavon. And I said, no, well, obviously I'm looking at a new club, but I've already verbally agreed to sign for Warren Point, and had a really good conversation with Spike, and Spike convinced me to sign for Ballymena. And I contacted Barry, and it says, like, it's a real tough decision to have, like, especially at that age, like, and
especially whenever you've kind of give someone your word too, and you're going back.
Of course, mate, yeah.
And that's slightly better option, and you're like, can't really say no to.
Of course, and no, exactly, and it's a conversation I probably didn't want to have.
Yeah,
it would have been easy not to have it and just go and play for Spike, because there was nothing signed. But I had it anyway, and that's just the way it goes. Like, I mean, you have to have tough conversations, and
character building those conversations, because you have to. And to be honest, I think as long as people are like, as long as you're straightforward, I think that's what I've figured out throughout the career is people like honesty, and as long as, regardless of how hard it is, they'd rather you just not lie to them or bullshit them. Be honest with them. Same as players, like if a manager doesn't want you, you'd rather the managers come to you and say, you're not in my plans anymore. I don't think you fit in this team. This is the way it's going to work, and you'd be like, right, well, I'll go get another club in if that's the way it's going to be, or I'll take my heels in and I'll try and fight from the place. But you'd rather know straight up.
Simple, isn't it?
Very, very simple. And I don't get how it gets way complicated.
I know.
People have to be kicked the reserves or put the 18s in another train people. That blows my mind, you know.
And it's all well and good, right? But for me, it's communication, right? And it's not just in football. Like, you have to communicate well in every aspect of your life. And like, all you ask for as a football player is to, like, know where you stand.
Yep.
And see, if you come to me and say, you're not my plans, then I'll be initially disappointed. But I tell you what, I'll respect you
100%
for coming. And at least I know now that I have to go and seek other avenues here, rather than just mess about. And I suppose
or somebody telling you, "Oh, I really want you to stay," and then
6 weeks down the lane, you still haven't kicked the ball. It's like, I mean,
no, you're in my plans. You're going to play next week, and you're like,
your opinion and your actions aren't aligning here. Like, Jesus Christ. So you're kind of like in no man's land. But I don't regret my decision whatsoever. I don't.
Well, Spike's a character. Spike's one of the best Irish
legend, like,
ever.
Legend. And then from what I heard from other people too, a good guy.
Well, in fairness, Ballymena at that stage we're doing well. I think you end up County Antrim Street final, or one of the finals at Windsor. I remember seeing it. I think Tony Kane was there. I think Jim Irvin was there. Cushley, likes those big janks.
Big janks and all, yeah. It was a cracking team, like, and here a brilliant club.
Yeah.
So, like, I was probably a wee bit ignorant of the Irish League, and I don't mean that as in, like, I was from Belfast, from the city. The only club I knew was Clinville, and didn't really know nothing to say that. Even the Belfast-based clubs I didn't know much about, like. But when I went to Ballymena, I was like, what a club! Like, I knew Bert, no, because Bert was our kit man from Northern Ireland days.
What a man. Bernal's still there. He's absolute legend.
Hero, legend, love him. But don't regret it, because Ballymena was a huge club, like facilities, everything about it, even the demand.
Yeah.
Such a demand. I love that. Do you know what I mean? So I don't regret that, and obviously stayed there for a couple of seasons, and it was great, as you said. We got a real good night at Windsor, and we beat Linfield in their own backyard, and you could arguably say it's a kind of Antrim Shield, and it's not the League Cup or the Irish Cup, but I think it's a great deal to Ballymena at the time, and
absolutely.
Really, really, proud they've been part of that night, and thankfully scored with a big giant head.
I would talk about that there, where you just jumped in there. I didn't have giant head on this year, but
I have to get that in. I didn't score many goals.
You did, you did end up scoring a coffee, and not many people get the opportunity to do that. Do you know what I mean? But for Ballymena at the time, they probably went a long time without a trophy, about a win, Windsor anyway. And I think from that, I don't think we've actually. I know I was back there a few times. We hadn't had a win at Windsor since, probably. So it's a wee bit of history there.
It was special. Like, it was alright. You could actually feel it. Like, you could feel it in the air, like, and the crowd Ballymena, like, they always have a massive support anyway, but they brought some crowd, like, and just one of them moments, like, you'll know this way more than me, like, but when you score and all you hear is a roar.
Yeah.
It was a big delayed roar. It was amazing, like, so it was class, a real fond memory. And I played centre half with Jim that night, and Jim was probably the smallest centre back I've ever seen, but jumped the hest.
Phenomenal.
What a player, like, and obviously, like, Ballymena started the season well now, and it's buzzing for Jim, like, especially
the three of them.
like, obviously fond memories of the club, but really happy for Jim, so long may that continue.
You got a wee trophy out of that. That's probably your first proper trophy at that stage. But it doesn't last long after that. You end up making the move and the switch to Carrick.
Yeah, so it's a couple of years of, like, sort of I just wasn't settled. I just didn't get settled anywhere. Even I thought I was settled at Ballymena until I ruptured was it metacarpal or something in my foot. I could be getting the name wrong, but it was a bad enough injury anyway. And I kind of, like, I'm not blaming an injury, of course not. But it kind of derailed me. I didn't play for a while, obviously recovering, and then I came back. And when I came back, I was a shadow of myself. Like, I just was, mate. Maybe I didn't do what I should have done. I thought I was, but I just didn't. I wasn't playing well, and I know that, and I wasn't in the team, and that's fine. Like, and at that time, like, I didn't chop Spike's door because I knew his decision was completely and utterly justified. I did when I thought I should have been playing. I knocked his door, like, and I wasn't happy enough to sit on the bench and pick the appearance fee up and everything's rosy. Like, no chance. Like, it's just not what I'm about. Do you know what I mean? So
a lot of travelling too.
That's it. You're leaving after work, so you're factoring in traffic. So it's an hour and a half, I suppose. And in the book, because I work in the city centre, so it takes you a while to get out there. But it wasn't even so much that there because it's straight down the motorway, and the facilities were amazing. The people in the club were amazing.
I mean, what I'm saying is, like, it's a lot of travelling for you wherever you're not.
Oh, sorry, mate. Yeah, totally. Yeah, when
I can't say it. I've been at Ballymena twice. I didn't mind not driving.
I really, I like, but it is much harder, obviously, when you're not playing.
Yeah.
But again, it gets to the end of that season, and Spike lost his job, unfortunately, and Dave Jeffrey took over, and he played a couple of games for him, like, but he didn't keep me on, and had no other choice. Like, I mean, I would have been delighted to stay at Ballymena.
Yeah.
I wasn't offered a contract, so.
Did you speak to David at all about staying, or was it just like?
Yeah. I mean, he spoke to everyone, in fairness to him, like, and totally get, obviously, the new manager was coming in, and there's always that, like, fear factor where you're like, maybe I'm not his cup of tea, and you're always you're
skeptical at the time.
Your mind's in overdrive, like, and I had a conversation with him, and it was very much, can't remember the ins and outs of it, but I mean, he was very, like, graceful with it all. Like, it was all done properly, and
knew where you stood, and you were
of course,
kind of go on from that.
100%. Yeah, shook his hand. Proper man, like, from that experience, that was certainly someone who just spoke to you and told you how it is. Like,
and you preferred that.
100%. Yeah, it's so much respect for him for it.
See, whenever you do make that move to Carrick, who's there at Carrick at the time? And who has the conversation with you initially to kind of be like, Carrick's an option?
Jonty goes back to Jonty.
Is he the manager?
No, he was assistant manager.
Okay.
And Kieran Harding, who's the Cliftonville chairman now. Kieran Harding was the manager. And I was just saying that.
Right, so he had just left Portadown with Ronnie at the time, remember?
Yeah.
I get you.
Yeah, that's right. So he took a job at Carrick, and Jonty went in as his number 2. Jonty will probably confirm this, like, but Jonty told me one night training McClinville, when we were both training McClinville, he goes, I'm going to be a manager, and you're going to be one of my first signings. And obviously, like, he wasn't the manager, but he had an influence on who was coming in, I suppose. And I went and met Jonty, Kieran and Michael Hughes. And at the time, like, Stevie McCulloch and all just signed, Big Mark Clark had signed, Gavin Taggart, like, we started to develop a real decent team.
A young team, but still very decent from what I have down here. Like,
like in terms of like experience and all, like
people in who played the game could handle themselves pretty much.
Yeah, played about the league and whatever else, and a few proper nutcases too. Like, God, we Arzo obviously came and signed as well, who loved the bits, like, and I was happy enough to sign a 1-year contract to see how it went. It went all right. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure it was the first season, but a good League Cup run. We didn't concede a goal up until the final.
Yeah.
Thanks to you lot, we ended up conceding and not winning the cup. But it was a strange feeling, though, like, shortly after leaving Ballymena, then you're playing against them in a cup final, like a major cup final, live on TV and just all those things. And not a year after. And then me and you just lost a mutual friend the week before in Conan. And I mean, fucking devastated, like, you devastated the full week, like, and
you had to get yourself up for it.
Of course you do, of course. I remember just trying to kick the fuck out of you, and
so that's the only way I think about it. It's probably I wouldn't say one of the worst League Cup finals, because I'm not saying it, but like Ballymena have someone, Carrick and they are. I mean, Cruise was packed. To be fair, I was the kind of expecting, I was going, no way this is going to be a thing, but it turned out to be an unbelievable night.
Yeah, the organisers played a blinder, like, because I don't think you could have stuck us in Windsor.
No,
because it wouldn't have all the
one stand.
But I thought they'd done a great job, like, in putting it there. I don't know what the quality of the game. I don't even think I've watched it back for it, like. So, I mean, it was probably was it 2 teams flinging shade at each other, like.
I remember Conor McCluskey whipped one in the top corner. He
goal.
Goal, and I think
what a goal!
I think Big Alan Jenkins scored. I think it was one of his last games. He was going back to Scotland.
Do you know what? See, I remember him. Did the big drink start crying?
I think so.
So at the time, I'm like, fuck. So you're fuming, of course, like, but then you look back and go, he's just a big gentleman, like, and you can't help but be pleased for him. Although you're devastated that you've lost, but I remember that night fondly, actually. Well, not fondly, but I remember it well. And you and Bushy would have played up front for Ballymena.
Yeah.
But these were a serious team then, like.
We were
These were unreal.
And really good players.
Yeah.
I loved playing with. And he probably doesn't get a talk a lot, but I don't know if he was a Portadown with you at the time, Gary Thompson.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Like, he's just a machine.
Unreal.
He would tackle your granny like he was an absolute animal.
Talk about someone you want in your corner going into the trenches, like.
Yeah.
Gaza Thompson would be up there. He's right up there, like.
Running back, he just runs everybody. He just doesn't care.
Legend. Absolute legend. I remember when he was leaving the Cruise a couple of years ago, and I was catting the Portadown, like, I was torturing him.
Absolutely.
Because it was the same way I was torturing you.
I was close to
that was twice you turned me down, because I tried to get you to go to Cliftonville when we were kids. But I know top player, like. But at that period, sort of, I started to find myself. I didn't get injured for a good while and play consistently, and it was like, it started to felt like it's becoming a senior player then. You know what I mean?
See, whenever you actually sign, you sign a 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is that why you signed the 1 year? Because you're thinking, if I can get myself rolling here, I'll get maybe a new deal here, or say I sign a 2-year Carrick, or try and propel yourself back into, not to be disrespectful here, but a slightly bigger club.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not being disrespectful. It's grateful, like, and like, I mean, as a club, they're flying, so it's brilliant to see. Like, I had a brilliant time, just fond memories. But I mean, of course, you're always just wanting to do the best for yourself. And if that was me playing for Carrick, and it was at the time, and I loved it, like, you know what I mean? And there was one thing, I might not have been the most talented footballer, but I would like to think, no matter where I played, like, the people that were paying to come and watch every week, like, nearly the lowest. When I cross the line, like I give everything. I give.
Well, one of the things I actually seen recently was, I know it was your birthday last week, so happy birthday.
Thanks, man.
For last week. But one of the things that I actually seen that I put out, and I'm quite good on Instagram with trying to put other people's stuff up there because I enjoy everybody. Like, and Portadown still putting up happy birthday posts. So you've obviously left a lasting impression on Portadown as a club, which is something that probably not many people are able to do.
Oh, that's nice. Like, it is alright. It's nice, and I suppose I mean, we'll probably touch on it. Like, but I didn't really get to like say goodbye to anybody at Portadown. Like, I kind of I left like sort of unusual circumstances, like personal circumstances. Like, it was nothing between us and the club or anything. Like, but I just had not had the opportunity to go back down. Like, and I will go back down. I will go back down and watch a few games. Like, because again, they're fantastic people. Like, and it's probably the one club where I think I stayed the longest.
Yeah.
For kind of found a home at Portadown, if I'm being honest.
5 years.
I loved it, like, and it's another huge club.
Yeah, big club. One thing I want to talk to you about is Michael Hughes. What was it like signing for Michael Hughes? And as I've spoken on this before, I think Davy Michael was there. I think you might have played with Davy and stuff. But
Davy was my manager of second season, I think.
Yeah. He obviously had a few dealings with Michael Hughes. I don't know if you had any dealings with Michael Hughes, but I found it bizarre that Michael Hughes bought Carrick and owned Carrick and was like pumping money in and trying to pay people's wages. It just blew my mind, so I didn't know this. But from your perspective, what was Michael Hughes like?
I didn't really have much like dealings with him. Like, he was
Personally,
I don't think he was around the club that often. Like, I think he was he would have went to the odd games and stuff. Like, but he was there the day I signed.
Yeah.
So obviously, I think it was myself, Jonty, Kieran, who was a manager, and Michael. And he was there. He was in. They were really keen to get me in, but he was still playing hard to get. And I was like,
what's good on?
Fuck my mom saying me or not? Like, do you know what I mean? But we ended up. I thought me and him got on well. He used to join. Like, I'm sure. Has anybody been on? I think was it. I can't remember who it was, but someone that spoke about him, like, joining in training.
Yes. Yeah.
He's hard as nails.
Yeah.
Like, and like top class.
Really good.
Like, really, really good.
That's what I was thinking. Like, his career is unbelievable.
Oh, it's phenomenal. I had to go back and look at it because, like, without being ignorant, like, he was before our time.
Yes, 100%.
So, like, they were all like, oh, he played in the Premiership in England, and like, what a player, like, and then
you're like, I dead on, like, I play up in the game, and like, oh fuck.
Oh, and then he played in that
games.
He played in that crazy King team at Wimbledon.
Yeah.
So that probably is why he's a nutcase, like, but he was the owner, like, he was fucking hammering boys, like going in and hammering them in training. You're like, mate,
Thursday night.
Our squad is thin.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you trying to achieve here?
You're probably cracking up because we're all injured. He jumps in at 7.
But other than that, like, it didn't really have much dealings with him. Like, Marty Murray tortured him at our Christmas dinner one night.
Sure.
He was sitting on the table. You obviously know what he's like. He was sitting on one of the tables with his wife. And Marty was going over. I think he said, like, the boys are choking any chance you put your on your target. Just call him out and everybody. But yeah, I'd say the atmosphere, he was very really
good.
Like,
yeah.
But what a player.
What a player, right? Unbelievable. Once he told me, I was like, there's no way he done that.
He was a bit of a strange character. Like, he's one of, like, you could never, like, you couldn't get close to him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's as if I don't know, he had a guard up. Maybe he didn't want to get close to the players. Fair enough, I understand it.
Smart thing is,
of course.
Hang on them. Constantly want more money out of me, and I don't want
100%. And again, like, when it was sort of towards the second season, that Carrick had offered me a new contract, and they were really keen for me to sign again and stuff like that. And I remember, like, it was Davy was the manager, so, like, I like Davy and I signed for Davy, no problem.
Yeah.
And then, like, Davy texted me saying he put in the group chat, I'm no longer a manager, but he texted me individually. And I was actually on the boat going to the Celtic match. It was cup final, so it was like the end of May or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, where's this leave me? No, like, I was literally about to sign for him again.
Yeah.
And then the owner, or the chairman at the time, Peter, was kind of like negotiating the contracts and stuff then, but there was no manager in place. So I remember speaking to him about a contract. He's like, no, you'll love the new manager. You'll love the new manager. And but there was no manager in place at that time. So I think Niall Curry made a come in afterwards, but I kind of had already left at that stage.
You were already on the boat to Celtic, but you're on the bus to Denver with Benny Deuce.
Aye.
Tell me about that, mate. That's one of the maddest things. Obviously, it started a revolution in the country. Like, it's made everybody think twice about full-time football. And
Yeah, Kenny. Yeah, he is a revolutionary, isn't he? Like, it's, he's an impressive guy. Like, what he said,
he could
he
sell
delivered.
snow to Eskimos. Like, see, whenever you meet him, you're like, there's no way this guy's as good as what he has on. Then you go in, you're like, I don't want to leave this cabin. I just, like, I'll sign. Like, it's
100%.
he can grip anybody with, like, when he's talking to you one-to-one, he has this ability to just rope you in, and you're like, I can't believe that everything that he said to me is literally going to happen within 5 years. And it did.
And it happened.
Yeah.
I know. Because I remember him, like, obviously hearing at the time that their ambition was to win the Irish Premiership, and you're like, Jesus Christ, all the bus.
I know.
Like, there's a process here, like, it's going to take a long time. He's done it.
5 years later, he's won it.
Yeah.
Stages.
It's unbelievable, like, but it was more so that came about because going way back to Clinville, before I left and went to Celtic, Seamus Lynch was my youth team manager
Yes.
at Clinville. And although I was like younger, I was playing in Seamus' youth team, under 18s. Had a good relationship with Seamus, kept in touch with Seamus even when he was like coaching the declines and all, and just like he's just a really, really good guy. It's gone well with him, and he had said about coming down to Larne, and I was like, that's an unbelievable opportunity. Like, and I was looking at the team, and it was like Tomas Cosgrove, like ex-teammate, friend. Yeah. Conor Devlin, ex-teammate, friend. Wee Davey, you know, ex-team, like, and the squad. I was like, do you know what? Like, they're onto something here. Yeah. Marty Donnelly.
Yeah. One of the maddest people they ever.
Oh my God, like one of the best people in the world. So I was like, nah, I could go in there and fit in right there. And plus that's a team full of absolute serial winners. Like, although they're nutcases, like them boys will do things right.
They signed like the maddest to signing. So I think Big Shane had signed. So it was like you and Big Shane at the back. At one stage, Ben Tilney came out of nowhere, who at that stage was easily one of the best left backs in the league. Like, so much ability. I've never seen anybody glide past people on a pitch before the way he did when he was fully fit.
It's fucking more nice kids.
Yeah, it's like Graham Kelly came in, Lee Lynch had come up. I think Fudger had signed. You're sitting going like, where are all these?
Jeff
Hughes came back from
won the playoff final about 2 months before at Wembley.
Played at Wembley, and then he's like, I'm just going to go to Larne.
I know, and then we played Knockbreda first game of the season.
I think a bit. I think he's probably going, what have I done here? I was playing at Wembley 3 months ago.
Well,
months ago, no.
It's proper welcome to Irish League football, like, isn't it? But the squad was a joke. Like, it was a joke. I went in there at the beginning and like, I'm going to really struggle to get into this team here. But I need to. I need to find a way to get in. And then I got an opportunity because I didn't start the first 2 games this season. I think I played the third and fourth, and then
that was you.
Played the full season after that.
You said won the league, but like 3 months before the end, like it was done very, very early. It was so enjoyable. It was so enjoyable. Now I know everything's rosy in the garden, enjoyable when you're winning, but it may be one of my most enjoyable seasons in football. Yeah. And that's going back to my youth days as well. Like, we played 3 at the back, and Tiernan like absolutely honed in on like playing nice in the back.
I don't know playing for the back, but there's a time and place to play, but like he had a proper structure to it. Like, it wasn't one of these ones like, lads, I want this to play. Right, many times you've heard this. I want this to play, and then someone makes a mistake, and then you come in at half time, and the manager goes, I know, but not in that area. You're like, Jesus Christ, do you want us to play or not? Do you know what I mean? Because we are going to get the ball away at times here. Like, do you know what I mean?
It's going to happen. We're going to get caught.
Exactly. And I'd done it playing at Loughgall, and I came out, and I've tried to slip a ball in the midfield, and I get caught out. But it was right and close to our box, and they scored from it. We had to come back and score in the last minute to win. Yeah. So I'm thinking right away, that's me at 18. And Tiernan just went, no, I'm asking you to do that. Yeah. Like, I want you to do that. I want you to do it again next week. And I was like,
sweet.
There's a manager who knows what he's talking about and is willing to stand by it. Like, so it was I thought I'd come on leaps and bounds as like on and off the pitch playing for Larne, like, just playing in the middle of the 3, enjoying myself. And actually, they seemed to get the best out of my ability too, because
it suited you, sweet, and you were quick, you covered ground.
I could run,
head the ball,
I could head it, and I could pass it, and it just suited me, and we were dominating most teams as well, so it's unreal.
Talk to me about the end of the season. What happens? Because I just agreed to sign.
I know. I remember talking to you in the Barbers, remember?
And I was like, I've signed, we're ready to go type thing, and all of a sudden you had this all-inclusive trip booked to Marbella. And I think I was going to Dubai to see Lucy, and I was devastated I wasn't on that trip because the reports back from it were unbelievable. I was like, how have I was getting FaceTimes, and I was like,
I remember everyone ringing you and all that. It was unreal. So a couple of weeks before that, like we had to gain a point to secure the league, right? So I mean, we won the league, but like
February.
aye. So we had to secure a point, and I think we made a draw or one of us. We were playing Ballinamallard anyway, near sure. And then after the game, they took us to Dublin. And it was just like a wee, pat in the back. Here's what Kenny was unbelievable at managing people and rewarding people for working extremely hard, which is what we did. So like a lot of people might see in the championship us showing up in suits and here's all these boys are for money. I can tell you right now, I was not earning for money. Yeah. I was earning more money at Portadown than I was at Larne. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like my second contract, and so that wasn't the question. Although we were being labelled that every week, that was a team full of absolute serial winners. Yeah, like incredible. Remember, like Cece, who's obviously given me the both of ours. We were training in Jordanstown because Denver was being done up in pre-season, and it was like first week. And I went to pass the ball to one of the support players on the side, and to get it bounced back. And CC just goes, like, he just shouted, "What the f*** are you doing?" He was like, "You're not playing for Carrick now." You know what I mean? Do you know the Roy Keane done it, the thing years ago, and it's like a famous story. He's like, "What the f*** are you doing? You're not." And I remember, like, obviously, I'd be hot-headed too. Like, hear me, who the f*** are you talking to? Do you know what I mean? Like, looking back, I was like, nah, he just knew how to get things out of me. Do you know what I mean? Because he he did all right. Even some of the things he used to shout on the pitch when you were playing in front of him. I remember playing at Clinville one day and we might have been 2 or 3-0 up at Solitude, and obviously he was on a hefty clean sheet bonus. Yeah. And he just shouted out, "See if any of you gonna make a mistake and I don't get my clean sheet bonus." This is what he's shouting during the game about getting this clean sheet bonus.
He's a different character, like. He's
so
one of the best humans on the planet.
Hopefully, mate.
And that's the thing. He'll have wee spells where, like, he done it recently with me. He just knew that I wasn't. He just knew he was annoying me, so he just kept annoying me. And then I just never replied to him. And then he would text you and be like, "I'm only slagging. Like, I love you." And I'm like, "Why are you trying to wind me up?" But like,
that's all he does.
And you know him. You're winding me up. Like, stop it. And then I was telling Lucian, I was like, "I ain't speaking to that fella ever again. He's a dick."
I know, you follow him all the time.
He phones you and be like, "Well, Horse," and you're like,
"What's the crack?" Aye. So, I think I went off tracker, but so we went to Dublin, and obviously stayed overnight, and the Kenny looked after all that there. He was really, really good at rewarding me, and like he just wanted to go back the week after and go, "Come on, we'll go again," and like had an unbelievable night out and took us to the Ivy restaurant, and we had a private room booked in it, and all those things, all those like nice things that, let's be honest, we're working class people. You don't really get to do that often, like, or if any. So brilliant. Thought he was amazing at that. And then a couple of weeks later, when the season finished, we all went to Marbella.
Talk to me about that sounded crap. Sounded crap. It was like beach cabana. It was like an unlimited access to booze, drink, jet ski.
Mate, he said,
"What is this?"
Kenny didn't even go. He sent his PA. So his PA was just running the boat wheels with a credit card. Do you know what I mean? We're all steaming. We'd all get in that morning, and he just, fair play to him. That guy, I forget a guy's name, like, but he might have went on. He might have been there a year after. I don't know. I forget his name, like, but he was just there going, "What do you want, boys? What do you want?" Like, it was a wee cabana on the beach, and then it was like water sports, and it just said, like, "Go and do what you want." We're at jet skis, when they had paints.
Jet skis upside
down. That actually did happen. The jet skis did go upside down, and we had to get the speedboat to come out and get us. I swear to God. I can't remember. It was wee Fudzer. He was near drowning. Fudzer couldn't swim. He's like, "I'm drowning." I was like, "You have a f***ing life vest on. You're all right. Just flip over onto your back." So I swam over anyway and tried to give him a hand, and it was hilarious. And like, we're all steaming as well, like, and the guys are pulling us in with a speedboat, and the jet skis were left out in the middle of the sea. Like. And then on the beach and unlimited drink, and it was just carnage, man. It was carnage. I couldn't even go into it.
I was so racing because I was like, I just agreed to sign, and part of me saying was like, I want to go away on the trip. And then, like, looking back, I'm like, who the like, I have no right to be on that trip. I wasn't there as part of the team. I didn't win anything, but I was like, so close to being like, this is like, they're going to do this. They're going to let you go. And I was like, by the way, I'll join them in a team and all, and I'll fit them.
I was like a wee incentive for you to sign.
I'm like, I was like, here, I'll be like, think about it, like team bonding and all. I'll just be as if everything's normal. I thought it was going to happen. It didn't happen.
Unbelievable. Actually, I would have loved it if you had went. Like, I was rooming with Scully. Remember Scully?
Yeah.
I actually seen him at Oasis last week. Right, so Scully loved his music. So me and Scully shared a car. Like, so we become really close that year. Through music, he just loved all the old stuff that I loved. Like, and me and him were rooming. Like, the most quiet, unassuming man in the world, but a legend. Honestly, an absolute legend.
What a career he's had.
What a career! And I honestly did not know how good of a player he was until I started playing with him. Like, and seeing him in training and all. Like, he was, and even then, I think that might have been his last year.
Yeah, it was, because he never went anywhere. I think he had like an unbelievable job or something, didn't he? Or he was like,
I think Scully may be like a quantity surveyor.
And it was like those things like, we're going full time now, and if anybody who couldn't make that sort of transition, then I think he was like,
no, and here, why would you? I think
he
had his own place and all the time, like, for he owned it, like, and stuff like that. He wasn't renting, like, they're living with his mad the way we all were. Like, he
was an adult.
100%. We were getting our wages at the end of the week, and then just drinking it, and then training the whole week, and then drinking the wage, and then doing the same thing again. So, like, even that there, like, hindsight, like, when you're looking back, like, could I have squeezed it? Could I have done better? I think probably, absolutely. I think in a way, not that you underachieve, because like, just no regrets, and you have loads of experiences coming out of it. Travelled the world playing football by the time I was like 22. Like, who can get to say that they've done that? Like, but I think obviously there was a bit of a drinking culture, like, in the Irish League, and it wasn't a bad thing. Like, you were having a bit of crack. You weren't
during the week and all.
I would think. I can't believe it. Clemville boys working out during the week and all, and they were fucking absolutely wiping the floor with teams. Do you know what I mean? But it's like the old saying, like, teams that drink the car win the car. Like, and I know it's changing now, and there's more teams like full time and all, and rightly so. Like, it should be.
Sort of culture set in there around most teams, and even the teams now who are part timers trying to catch up. And
100%, and it's hard. Like, but I actually think I look after myself better now than I did when I play football, which is insane. Like, but
I can't say that right now. Maybe in a couple of months.
Well, you're fucking looking tremendous as always.
Maybe. One thing I want to touch on then is you finish up at Lauren that year. So that you end up going away to Marbella. You end up signing for Ports. Moving on. I think Tippy ends up being the manager of Ports, is he?
So Tippy's a manager. So they were in the championship at the time. And I'd just been nominated for Player of the Year with Lauren and stuff, and had a really good year. And thought I was going to the Premier League with Lauren, to be honest, and it didn't materialise. And so I was a wee bit disheartened about that, and how it was sort of not how it was handled. Like, it was just became a conversation. It's fair, like, but I thought, given the season I'd had, I should have been treated a bit better. And
I was definitely at that thing, because I think that was the whole thing. Me and you were constantly in like cahoots, being like, "That's us, we're back together" type thing. And
I know, mate. I was honestly
we had planned everything. It was like, I'll pick you up in the morning.
Yeah, we're going to travel together. We're going to have so much fun. We're going to be out this. Honestly, like, I was buzzing too. Like, and then it didn't happen. And I thought I was maybe a bit, for the first time ever, I would always be like quite honest with myself. And for the first time ever, I thought, no, I don't deserve it. I should have been deserved to be treated a bit better. Yeah, because I was a part time. See, for 6 months, the second half of the season at Lauren, like, I kept my job. Like, I was training part time. I wasn't full time, and I was in the team consistently, part time player in the team over, real good players. Yeah, absolutely. But again, it is what it is. Like, I wouldn't fall out with anyone over it. It's football. It's cutthroat, and that's what happened. So Tippy came, and the last thing I wanted to do, was, no disrespect, it was to go back and play in the championship. But Portadown, big pool, big club. Had really made me feel like, yes, you're not just going to come and sign, like, you're going to come and be a massive part of what we're about to do. I credit to Tippy, and obviously had a relationship with Tippy, played with Tippy at Ballymena. Tippy had tried to sign me at one point. Got on really well with him. Loved everything about him and what he was trying to do. And I thought, that's a guy I could play for, like, and that's definitely a club I could see myself at. So I just took a gamble, and I went, you know what, I reckon they'll get promoted. And thankfully, I only spent the season in the championship. We won it and went back up.
Tippy's a phenomenal fella. He has a book out, a coaching book. Don't know if you ever noticed this. Don't know if anybody knows this.
No, I haven't even seen
Tippy has a book out. We're going to have to quote this from Brian and Dick. He wrote his own book on how to coach.
Did he?
Must be coaching for dummies or something, guys. Punking the head. Like, I hope you got your own coaching. One need it. But no, I'll be talking to Tippy near enough every other day at the minute, and he's phenomenal. And I think, like, I'm trying to help him out with his brother's setting up a mental health program in Wales.
Brilliant, mate. Fair play.
They're doing really well, but he's constantly back and forth. He's hilarious, but I get why you would have signed for him, because that character alone would have been like, I could do this. Plus, he's had a phenomenal career as well.
Brilliant, mate. Brilliant.
Unbelievable.
Me and him laugh about this, like, but I played against him one night for Cliverville, at Windsor, the old Windsor, and he was playing up front for Linfield, and again, I was just a kid and I was a bit ignorant. I didn't know who anyone was, so I didn't really do any prep going into games. I just went and played. And he schooled me, mate.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I was a big 19-year-old, 6'4", but built like a Saudi fiver, like. And he just, I remember Dermot O'Carroll saying, like, he has played so many games, so many 100 games in England. Like, he's a real top player. He'll try and back into you and do all these things. You're like, yes, 100%. You're trying to take him on board until it happens, and you've never really experienced that before. And I always did say that to him, even when I went back to play at Ballymena. I went, you absolutely schooled me, but I learned so much from that night. Like, I was so conscious of centre forwards trying to pin me off that.
Yeah.
And what I needed to do to, like, sort of combat it. So yeah, I mean, he pulled my pants down one night, like, at Windsor, and it wasn't a good experience for me, but I learned so much from it. Like, and again, we've been out to drink a lot of times, like, and he always brings it up now.
He got a 5-year deal at this stage whenever you had signed, so he had just got this new deal. Unheard of that he's getting a 5-year full-time contract Portadown. He obviously made a load of signings. He's got promoted back into the Premiership. What was that like to be back in the Prem?
Oh, it was class, because I remember, and this is like they were bringing big crowds around the Championship, so, like, even in terms for, like, the economy in the Championship, they were probably making clubs a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, like, everyone wanted us to stay there, because, I mean, they were all benefiting from it. Such a huge fan base, so we were bringing really, really good crowds. But when we went back to the Premiership, we played Glenavon our first game, which is a Mid-Ulster derby, which is another brilliant derby, like. And we played them at their place, and I think in the end we beat them 4-2, but we went up 2-0, and, like, it was the first half was we absolutely battered them, like.
Yeah.
And disappointed to concede a couple of goals, but we ended up winning convincingly. But I remember, like, it was like a hybrid crowd, because it was like coming back from COVID. And the amount of fucking messages that I got on my phone that night from supporters was unreal. I'd, like, never had, like, experienced it before. And I was like, this club's huge, like.
Yeah.
And then I played another couple of games in the Prem, obviously, and it started okay, and then with a couple of kind of injuries, and I was one of them. So then that game at Ballymena came around, and I got a real nasty one, like. I went over to tackle Shay, like, and at the time, like, not many boys were getting anywhere near Shay, like, so he just run through the middle of our team. And I've kind of come out of position to go and engage him, and my left boot stuck in the grass as I was trying to, like, tackle my right, and my knee just twisted, and I just heard a crack, and I was like, oh fuck, this isn't good, like. Get into the ambulance, and, like, kind of, like, the pain went away, and I was like to the physio, no, I'm sweet, like, I'll go back up, I'll play second half. And he was like, well, you fuck. I was like, sure, it's not sore anymore. He goes, it's not really necessarily a good thing.
Yeah.
He goes, like a bop. So went to the hospital, got a scan, there was no break, and I was like, when there was no break, I was like, I'm done here, like. And then what I will say about the club, Portadown, was that, see how they looked after me. So you always hear horror stories, don't you, certainly in our league, about how players aren't really well managed when they get a bad injury and they're not really any use to the first team. It was the complete opposite in Portadown. I had just signed a 3-year contract 6 months before, and it was just before Christmas as well, so there would have been, like, a big expense to, like, you know, go about the operation and everything else. But how they handled it was unbelievable, and took care of every single thing, and it was all done privately, and never had an issue with wages, never even had to question anything. Yeah. It was done right. It was done the way it was supposed to be done. Do you know what I mean? So again, another reason why I've really, really fond of that club, like, because I had to look after me whenever I wasn't in the best of headspaces. Like, because when you have an injury like that, you're sitting in the house. I remember it was a winter lockdown, and, like, drinking like skinhead.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Nothing else to do.
Well, that's it. Like, and not able to go to the games. I ended up becoming a commentator for a season. Done co-commentary for Portadown TV. So loved that. Like, tried to be around the boys as much as I could. But I see anytime I step foot in that club, like, like, the welcome I got from the boardroom and the coaches and staff and the supporters was I hadn't got that in Irish League before. That was the only club I've experienced that at. Sorry. A bit of Lauren as well, to be fair. I seemed to be well got there, and I got on really well with people. But
Portadown just elevated that.
they were just good, and they really looked after you, and which is why when it came around to signing another contract after that, I was like, no, they stood by me, and I'm certainly going to do the same, because everyone was looking to leave at the time. It was a bit unbalanced and whatever else, and like Niall and Cliffy and stuff would come in, and them boys were going to have a proper go at it, like, and but more so that because I had a club stood by me, I was like, no, I'm not going anywhere, and I wouldn't have went anywhere for more money or anything like that. It was like no chance. Like, my mind's made up, I'm signing here, regardless of what league you're in.
See, whenever you do come back after you've went through, say, 12, 15 months rehab, your head's mentally not there. You sign that new deal, but at this stage we've probably had conversations, and I remember having brief conversations with you. We had met in St George's Market, and I think at the time I was kind of saying to you about I wasn't mentally ready for the game anymore, and I think you were probably further down that line than I was. I think I was able to probably continue on, whether it was just for the money security of things. I think you kind of made up your mind, and I was trying to say to you, like, I'm in the same boat, but I'm not fully there, such as what you were. How difficult was it, that period that you were going through, that made you think, I'm done with football and I'm ready to step away? Because you're 28, 27.
28, 29 now at the time. But I remember the conversation really well, because I remember what I thought, like, when you left, was I know you, and it just got your energy, and I was thinking, right, I know where his head's at after that conversation. Yeah. Like, you don't even have to say it in words, I just know where you're at. Yeah. And I remember I wasn't happy. It was miserable, to be quite honest. There was external factors that were causing that. Like, I was in a crossroads in my life, so like, I was like, I need to do more, because I'm just about to go here and have a family and everything else, and I'm just not where I need to be financially, and just headspace and all. And me and Molly were trying to buy our own place, so it was just a lot of uncertainty. Like, you're having a lot of pressure, and then there was an illness in the family as well. And listen, anyone that plays football, part-time or not, well, it's part-time, but it's anything but, it was taking 90% of my time up in MC, because I was still recovering from, not recovering, I was well recovered, my knee was fine, but in order for me to get fit and turn out game after game and train session after session, I had to do a lot more than the rest of the boys. So I was full-time, because the nights that I wasn't at the club, I was in the pool, I was doing rehab in the gym, pre-op, like, and this is like, you know what it's like, it's the most boring thing you can do. Yeah. Like, what do you get out of it? Like, you don't even get a pump, you don't even feel good after it, because it's just all like boring, and it's not like taking it out of you. So I think because that was kind of happening, and then I was driving to and from the hospital, and at that just particular time, I went, no, I need to take a step back. It's my, like, it's, I have to, I have to make the decision that's best for me. And then one that I can support my family too, because for too long when you're younger, I think you make decisions based on everybody else's perception of you. Yeah. And you're like, no, I need to live up to this image. Like, I'm known as a football player, so I need to batter through and keep playing. I was like, I have so much more than a football player. Like, yeah. So I had no issues stepping away, and it was a tough decision, because I remember I felt sick having the initial conversation, but I knew it was the right thing to do. And I did it, and I didn't struggle. I didn't, and I'm so grateful that I didn't, because I know so many that do. And I didn't. So, do you know what it taught me? I never needed football. I just loved it. Right. Do you know what I mean? So, I didn't need football to fulfill me or make me happy. It did so by default. Yeah. But I just loved it. But I didn't think that I needed it anymore. A few years previous, absolutely, it was the opposite. But I was like, no, I have so much to offer. And hence the reason why I'm in a good place with my career outside of football, and I'm loving what I'm doing, because I took the time to build that up. It just didn't magically come out of the thin air. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, I made steps towards that.
Do you think that hindsight's set in now, since you've realised that the things that you went through at that stage, so you're saying about these crossroads, you're saying about external issues, so illnesses or family members, and then obviously Molly potentially trying to have a kid, get a house, get a family sorted. Do you think that with the situation that happened, and I know it's probably your granda side of things with the illness and definitely...
Well, at the time it was my granny who's
Granny?
who's an absolute trooper, and she's fighting away, like
Yeah.
she's doing great. My granda took about 6 months after that, but just out of nowhere, and then he passed away within the month. But
Do you think that that's all correlated to helping you get to this stage now where you think, I didn't need this, because that 6 months that you end up getting to spend being with the family has benefited you?
Oh, it's important. No, it's important. I was able to take my granny to all her appointments at the hospital instead of her getting a taxi. Seeing that,
Such a small thing,
isn't
but
it?
such a huge thing.
Emotional support after she comes out, maybe disheartened and whatever else, and all those things. And then you're able to give a bit back to the people that like literally built you up.
Yeah.
And then like my granddad passing was fucking devastating, because like I would never have kicked a football if it wasn't for my granddad. And I mean this, like he drove me to every single training session from I started playing when I was 9 until I kind of got like mid-20s and was playing senior and I was driving myself. Every single session, regardless of where it was. So like we would have been playing like for Clinville, but also playing like County Accents programme, and then playing for Northern Ireland. So you're training down in Cookstown on a Sunday, you're playing for Clinville on a Saturday.
You're going to,
and
that was a store, that wee mount, Scream Mount. You're going down.
Yes, you're going down the Antrim, you're training for the Mill Cup squad and everything else.
Yeah.
So you think of the travelling involved there, like hang on, the loved it. Like
I couldn't. Do you know what? This is so hard to say this, but I wouldn't want to put them ahead on my own car. I'd be sitting going, I'm not backing up 300
I know.
You to go down the road, that's like deal.
He just didn't care about anything about himself. He just like he was just there, and he was a massive support along with my own parents. But so that's devastating, but that's part of life too. Like, and you know what I mean. As I said, I wouldn't have had the opportunities, and I certainly wouldn't have had the life that I had in football and the amount of opportunities that I've got from it.
Yeah.
Without him, like,
it's kind of putting stuff into perspective, because since I've been able to kind of step away, I've kind of had to step away regardless, because the injury doesn't allow you to go and play football. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like 16, 18 months, that's fine. But you realise how much time that you spend going to football and how much time that you're actually being able to be with your kid.
Yeah.
I know obviously you've got a little one now, Clara, but it's so mad that it's like a Tuesday night and Thursday night, putting a kid to bed. It's like so small.
So small.
Maybe in a year and a half, I might want to do that. You could be nuts. You'd be like,
she's getting there already.
I want to go back to football, but
Yeah.
at this moment in time, I'm like, this is great. And Sean Ward said last week when he was on it, the first year you kind of don't realise it until the following year, where you're like, oh, I used to do that, and I'm not doing it anymore. Maybe kids are up, but
well, that's
to say it's been nice.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. Like, I absolutely love it. It is the best job I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
But playing for Celtic didn't come close to it.
Yeah.
And like, I work a lot, right? So there'll be evenings I'll be doing delivery work in the evening, but I'll be out from 5:30 that morning, and I don't get into 9. So like, it's not that often, but it means I don't get to see the child at all that day.
Yeah.
So I've had a couple of conversations with, sorry, I didn't even get to the conversation stage, but a couple of clubs have contacted me in the last couple of windows, and I have kind of refused it. And the reason being is because if I'm not, what's the point of me going to speak to them if I do not have the capacity to commit?
Yeah.
And a couple have tried to accommodate that and say, look, well, why don't you come down and you'll play on a Saturday, and we know you look after yourself, so you'll be grand that way. And I was like, no, I can't do that. How
do you do that to other players to be like, turn up?
Exactly, mate. So how do I look at the rest of the boys in the squad? Potentially as a senior player, have to have a pop at someone.
And then they go,
and I'm not a training, you know what I mean, a hypocrite. So, and also I'm not good enough to not train and commit. So if I'm going to sign for a club and commit, it's going to be 100%. Like literally, if I can go in with both feet, that's the way I'm going to go in. I can't do that right now, because my time and my daughter and my family is far too important to me. And while she's young, so they always say like, enjoy them while they're this way, because don't stay like that for long. That means a great deal to me, and it means much more to me than football.
What do you think is next? Do you see yourself wanting her to be in football? Do you see yourself coaching, doing any sort of thing like football wise? I know obviously you're still coaching me, ECA, you're doing bits and pieces. Anyone who's looking small group training, by the way, Paddy does me roots there, and 5 a.m. start, you have to get out of bed.
Plug in, get the plug in.
But no, that's the thing that you're in at the minute. But do you see yourself wanting at any stage to go, might do my coaching badges, make it back in a different capacity where I can look after her, take her to your games, do the opposite now than what was always done to you by Miranda? But
Of course, yeah. Well, I would never leave. I would never say no. I was as part of my job, so like I run a health strand, so you get to do some real rewarding work that way as well. So like we've a men's walking group, for example, and I just spent that whole week delivering a cool camp for 60 kids.
for cool kids.
Yeah, and trying to like spark an interest in the GAA where we come from as well, because it's kind of dwindling away. We both play for the club, obviously, but but just seeing these wee nippers, like they don't care what sport they're playing.
No,
but they're there. It's a social thing for them, and they're learning so much like social skills, and I just think there's so much more benefits to it. So
an exercise, not on the PlayStation, they're not
exactly. They're not sitting watching an iPad. So, I would love Clara to play a team sport of some sort. What that sport is, that would be up to her. But just because of the real like tangible benefit that it gives you as a person, and that's it. No pressure whatsoever on her. It's the same if I had a wee boy. My dad didn't put pressure on me.
Yeah.
Not once. I done everything because it was what I wanted to do. So yeah, same thing applies to wee Clara when she's up.
Brilliant. Well, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm going to round it up here because you've 221 appearances, 16 goals, and you're one of my best friends.
That's more important to me than the goals and the appearances.
Good. Well, listen, thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure having you in the hot seat. We do hugs here. So
I didn't expect anything less.
Up you get hugs only.
Thank you so much for it. Appreciate it. Keep doing what you're doing, because I'm very proud of you, mate.
We're enjoying it. Thank you. Appreciate that.
You're killing it.
Face me out for the camera at the voice. Just.
Who needs football?
Who needs football? And you've got a football podcast.
A football podcast. We just talk about it.
Just get to talk shit about it all the time.
Class. Loved it, mate. Thank you.
Join us next week on the On the Spot Football Podcast for yet another fantastic guest. Have you ever wondered what it's like to be a general manager at a football club with no clue what you're doing and no qualifications on how to do it? Tune in next week.